Oh wow, it's been like an entire week since I've uploaded a video. So, wait. Oh, I haven't uploaded in weeks. Well, because I'm going to be having not just a new video, but a new series, video game level analysis, where I pick a level and analyze it, and they won't always be from Zelda, but I am starting with one of my favorite dungeons in the entire Zelda series, the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time. So, first off, to better understand the dungeon as a whole, we gotta look at all of the lore in the game surrounding it, so we can find where it fits in the universe. So obviously, it's a building located deep in the forest, past the Sacred Forest Meadow, but I've always wondered why. Why is it here? The Lost Woods are so hard to navigate, then how did the people that built it get through? Why is this place filled with undead enemies? What is the Sacred Forest Meadow? In this video, I'm going to try to answer these questions as best I can, and by that I mean like half of them. So first off, my theory is the temple was originally a fortress of some kind. In the lore for Ocarina of Time, a great war was fought over the Triforce, and this war is actually the reason Link is in the forest to begin with. So it's not too much of a stretch to think that the Forest Temple could be a destroyed fortress from the war. The main evidence for this are the enemies you encounter in the dungeon, which can be put into two categories with two specific enemies sitting outside these categories. So first we have the forest creatures, things like the Wolfos and the Skulltulas that came into the temple from the forest. Secondly, we have the undead enemies, which is my main evidence for the theory, since there are a large amount of undead, including Stalfos in armor and armed with swords. They must have died or been transformed by the woods to be undead, like they state in the lore. If the undead enemies are soldiers, how do we explain the Poe sisters, the mini-bosses of the dungeon? These sisters are not soldiers. So my take on this is Poe sisters must have just been the wives of the soldiers. Like, it's a big fortress. But the two enemies that fit into their own category are the Four Masters or the Wall Masters. I don't remember the exact name. The dungeon's boss, Phantom Ganon. So Ganondorf himself, and actually Phantom Ganon isn't undead, but still, that's besides the point. So Ganondorf himself must have come here at one point, since the forest is cursed by him when you go there. And when he came there, he created a phantom version of himself, maybe create the Four Masters, or even bring to life the undead enemies. Another evidence for this is the weird curved room. Is how could that be created not by magic? So, we've talked about theories and why the enemies are in the dungeon. Now I'm going to talk about the dungeon itself. The Forest Temple is the fourth main dungeon overall. The first dungeon you go to as adult Link. So at this point, I think you have like the hook shot and the bombs, and that's about it. But in order to get there, you have to defeat or outmaneuver a group of moblins, who I think were most likely brought there by Ganondorf to guard the temple. Then the dungeon has a theme of nature and shadow, having cursed rooms, undead enemies, trees growing out the walls of the temple, and invading wildlife from the forest that sits beyond its walls. So before we continue, I want to talk about what makes this dungeon so good. Since this is one of my favorites in the series, like one of my favorite dungeons, I love this one. The overall atmosphere is the best part of this dungeon. But what creates the atmosphere? The atmosphere is created from a whole bunch of elements. The music, for one, helps to bring... Did I write this atmosphere again? Yeah, it helps to build the atmosphere with its strange mixed sound. The overall beat creates the unsettling track that plays for the entirety of the dungeon. So, unsettling music is one part of that. Along with this, the enemies help to add to this as well. Most prominently, the Floor Masters or Wall Masters or whatever they're called make a single appearance in the dungeon, which happens after the strange curved hallway, I think, which helps to add to the unsettling atmosphere. Now, it's finally time to talk about the dungeon's item, primary mechanics, and bosses. The item of the Forest Temple is the Fairy Bow, which is one of the most useful items in the game, acting as your main ranged weapon. You're going to use the bow a lot throughout the game. You're going to use it to fight enemies at range. You're going to use it for puzzles. You're going to use it just for randomly shooting stuff, shooting some birds, just doing whatever. Fairy Bow was great. It was so good. It came back in Majora's Mask. And then was a main item for the rest of the series. But this is not an analysis of the bow, so I will continue. And then the dungeon's main mechanic is the hunt for the Poe sisters, which was such a well-executed idea that it was brought back at Twilight Princess. So a little more than halfway through the dungeon, you reach a large room near the entrance to the boss room. But the route to the door is the Poe sisters, who need to light the lanterns in order for you to pass. So you have to go throughout the temple and find the sisters. There are two who use similar attack patterns, having their, I think they hide in paintings, and you gotta shoot the painting or something when they're in it to get them out. And you just they're pretty easy to fight, and you just beat them, and then they'll go back to the lantern and light it. So, and two of them are like that. And then the third one has like a timed block puzzle, which helps to vary the gameplay, which is pretty cool. And the puzzle wasn't too annoying or hard, but it was really fun. And then finally, there's the mini-boss of the dungeon, who I forgot what the mini-boss's name was, actually, and I didn't write it in my script. Ha. Good thing we have Google. Hurry, Google. So, okay, the Poe sister, who the mini-boss was. But, the mini-boss, oh yeah, and she will create duplicated versions of herself. And I love the idea of having to hunt down the ghosts in like a creepy temple. It feels really rewarding getting a lantern lit. Also, here's a little trivia. The Poe sisters are named after, like, I think the sisters from Little Women, I think? Was that it? Yeah, I think Little Women, but trivia. So, finally, we have the dungeon's boss, Phantom Ganon. And Phantom Ganon is a pretty intimidating boss. I find it pretty intriguing. When we first walk in this room, you get locked in, and you don't know what's in there. Like, what is this? You look at the paintings, and you see, whoa, he's charging at me. What is this? Comes out of the paintings, riding on his ghost horse. You gotta shoot him as he comes out of the paintings, and you gotta find out which painting he's coming out from. And I just love that idea. Like, that's a really cool idea, and it was implemented really well. I think, at least. But, the reason I find him so intriguing is, what is it? Why is it in this temple? And if it's the Phantom of Ganondorf, why is it called Phantom Ganon? Like, that's not really... Oh, also, the Poe sister, the mini-boss, their name is Meg. Thank you, Google. Okay, so due to its title, I assume Phantom Ganon is a Phantom of Ganondorf created by him. I also assume that Ganondorf put it in the Forest Temple to guard it. I also think that Phantom Ganon is called that instead of Phantom Ganondorf because it is more monster than man. So this is where my script ends, and I'm mainly just going to be talking about what I personally like about the dungeon. I already talked about the atmosphere and all that. I just really like this dungeon. I like that you have to go through the woods to get there. It's kind of a build-up. And you kind of gotta fight like a mini-boss to get through. Like the Great Moblin guarding it. Even though it's pretty easy once you figure out, oh, the hook shot can like one-shot him, I think, or stun him. I think it stuns him. But still. And I just like the idea of it is a forest-themed dungeon, but it is more of a creepy, shadow-themed dungeon. And I think they've tried to do this a few more times during the series, but it's never really worked out. Like Twilight Princess kind of tried to do it, but that one was just more of an actual forest dungeon and less of a, woo, spooky forest. Yeah, so thank you all for watching. And I hope that you all liked this first installment of level analysis. I hope my later videos will be longer. I thought this was gonna go like 20 minutes, but only 10 minutes, oh no. But I hope to do many more of these in the future. And while I'll be starting out with Zelda levels and dungeons, I will eventually be doing analyses of levels from all sorts of games. Maybe some Mario games. Maybe I kind of want to do one of the levels from Hat in Time. Let me look at my collection of games. Maybe some Luigi's Mansion. Yeah, Luigi's Mansion could be good. Oh, Pokemon. I definitely want to do some Pokemon. Because a lot of those Pokemon games have, like, dungeon-like areas, and it's pretty fun. Like, Black and White in particular. But, what level do you guys want me to analyze? And just let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.